How's it going, folks? Welcome back to this Tuesday edition of the Pregame Show. I'm your host, Owen Manning. It was a great Tuesday out here, pretty warm day in the Bluegrass. They say it got up to about 70 degrees. But anyways, let's get into our action. I wasn't able to get an episode up on Saturday, so we're going to recap the weekend first to start off there. We got a lot of stuff to go over, folks, so I'm just going to try and get it all done for us here. So Saturday, y'all know Kentucky lost to Georgia 75-68. The game, honestly, people are saying don't overreact, but I think it was a disaster. We had no C.J. Frederick, no Severe Wheeler. We got in foul trouble to start off. We were shorthanded. Case and Wallace had an off game, which we really couldn't afford, and the whole team really just looked off, to be honest with you. It was just a nightmare down there in Athens. It's not a good game to lose at all. It makes it a whole lot harder to make the tournament at the end of the year, and it puts us off the edge of the bubble, as to where before that loss we were on the bubble, and now we're off. So anyway, moving into Sunday, Northwestern upset the number one ranked Purdue Boilermakers early in the day before the big game today, which was the Super Bowl. The Chiefs won that game 38-35, as y'all might have saw. The national anthem performance, it was just great. Kentucky native Chris Stapleton, he did a great job with the national anthem. And I think it's better than the halftime show, to be honest with you. Both teams played pretty well. There's not much you could say. The Eagles, they're at the end of the ball game, they're probably going to have a chance to have a game-winning drive. But y'all saw that holding call. It's just unfortunate to see a call like that late in the game, kind of put its own mark on the game. But, you go back and you look at the replays and you think, now, was it a hold? Sure, yeah, it was a hold. But, was it so significant to be called in a huge spot like that? I just don't think so. If you go back and you nitpick and you look, there's something like that happening every play, and just because Patrick Mahomes goes and whines to the ref about it and he gets a flag after the ball already hits the ground, I don't necessarily know if that's the correct thing to do, but it happened and there's nothing that could have been done about it. So, but you just hate to see a game end like that with the mark on the game being a penalty like that. And like I said, stuff like that will happen every play. If they replay reviewed holds, you'd have one all the time. But moving into Monday night, number 15th ranked Miami beat North Carolina in Chapel Hill 80-72. It was a pretty big win for the Hurricanes. And Texas Tech beat 12th ranked Texas. Texas Tech was at home in that one, 74-67. Then last night, Tuesday night, I told y'all this was a Tuesday edition of the show, didn't I? It's a Wednesday, actually. But, oh well. 24 Providence beat 18 Creighton in double overtime, 94-86. 5 Kansas beat Oklahoma State 97-76. And then 12th ranked Kansas State lost to Oklahoma 79-65. So now that we're caught up on the weekend and the early week, let's talk about tonight's action. Here at 7 o'clock, the number one ranked Alabama Crimson Tide head up to the number 10 ranked Tennessee Volunteers. That game is at 7 o'clock on ESPN2. Tennessee is favored by 3 points in that one. The game is going to be played at Thompson Bowling Arena in Knoxville, Tennessee. And starting out with the home team, actually, Tennessee is 19-6 on the year, 8-4 in the SEC, which puts them in third place. They are coached by Rick Barnes and led in scoring by Santiago Vescovi, who's averaging 12.2 points per game. And their second leading scorer is Zakiya Ziegler, is averaging 10.8 points per game. Alabama is 22-3 on the season, undefeated in the SEC. 12 of those SEC wins for them, first in the SEC. And coached by Coach Nate Oates. Led in scoring by forward Brandon Miller, who's averaging 18.8 points per game, as well as 8.2 rebounds per game. Their second leading scorer, guard Mark Sears, is averaging 14 points per game. And in that game, Alabama +3 on the road. I think Alabama is one of the best teams in the country, and I think they're going to be able to get it done in Knoxville and cover that 3 points that Vegas is giving to them. Our next game we have tonight is the 16th ranked Xavier Musketeers at number 11th ranked the Marquette Golden Eagles. The game is at 7 o'clock on CBS Sports. Marquette's favored by 6 points, and it's being played in Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Xavier is a 19-6 on the season, 11-3 in the Big East, second in the Big East in the standings, coached by Sean Miller, led in scoring by guard Salsley Bowen, averaging 16.1 points per game, and forward Zach Freemantle is averaging 15.2 points per game and 8.1 rebounds per game for the Golden Eagles. For the Musketeers. Now, next up for the Golden Eagles, Marquette is 20-6 on the season, 12-3 in the conference, and they are first in the Big East, coached by Shaka Smart, and led in scoring by guard Cam Jones, who is averaging 15.2 points per game, and forward Oliver Maxine Prosper is averaging 13 points per game. This game is a big one, as it is for first place in the Big East, so I'm sure it'll be a competitive game down there in Milwaukee, and it'll be a good one to watch if you're not watching anything else. But I think the Alabama-Tennessee game will be the one to watch at 7 o'clock. I do like Xavier +6. I mean, on the road, it's obviously going to be tough in such a high-stakes game, but I think Xavier's got the ability to pull this one out up there. Next up, we got 22 ranked the TCU Horned Frogs at the 19th ranked Iowa State Cyclones. Game is at 9 o'clock on ESPNU. Iowa State is favored by 6 points in that matchup. It's being played at James H. Hilton Coliseum in Ames, Iowa. And TCU on the season is 17-8, 6-6 in the Big 12, which puts them at 7th place in the Big 12. They're coached by Jamie Dixon. And then guard Mike Miles Jr. is their leading scorer, averaging 18.1 points per game, but he hasn't played since January 28th. He does have some sort of injury. I'm not too sure what it is, honestly. I didn't look that far into it. But he hasn't played for them for a while. And then guard Damian Bowe is their new leading scorer, averaging 12.2 points per game. Iowa State is 16-8 on the season, 7-5 in the Big 12, which is 4th place in the Big 12, coached by T.J. Otzelberger. Led in scoring by guard Jaron Holmes, who's averaging 12.5 points per game, and guard Gabe Kalshire is averaging 12.7 points per game for the for the Cyclones. TCU +6 is my pick for that game. They are road dogs, and I think the road dogs are going to have a big game tonight, or going to have a big night tonight. I just do like TCU +6 in that one. Now time for the Big Blue segment today. Your Kentucky Wildcats are traveling down to Starkville to take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs tonight. That matchup is at 8:30 on the SEC Network. Mississippi State is favored by 3 points. And the game is played at Humphrey Coliseum in Starkville, like I was saying. Kentucky is 16-9 on the season, 7-5 in the SEC, 5th place in the SEC, coached by Coach John Calipari. And led in scoring by center Oscar Sheboy, averaging 15.7 points per game as well as 13.3 rebounds per game. Second leading scorer for the Cats, guard Antonio Reeves, averaging 13.2 points per game. Then you have guard Cason Wallace, averaging 12 points per game. Then forward Jacob Toppin, averaging 11.7 points per game and 6.6 rebounds per game. Mississippi State, on the other hand, is 17-8 overall, 5-7 in the SEC, which is good for 11th in the SEC, coached by Chris Jans, and led in scoring by forward Telo Smith, averaging 14.6 points per game and 8.3 rebounds per game. Their second leading scorer, Shaquille Moore, averaging 9.2 points per game, and he is a guard. Now I've got some keys to the game for us. Oscar, he needs to have more effective touches whenever we give him the ball, because recently what I've been saying, or what I've been seeing, is, he'll post up, but he'll kind of post up in a mid-post or a high-post position instead of down in the low post. Oscar, I'm going to be honest, he really doesn't have a move to get to, say, from the mid to high post to get all the way down to the block where he's an effective scorer. So he can't be complacent whenever he's backing somebody down and trying to get position. he's got to get position where he's able to score the ball most effectively. And I don't believe that that's up high as where he's been catching the ball, which I believe has led into part of his ineffectiveness down the stretch here. We need to contain their leading scorer, Tolu Smith. You know, we struggled versus bigger players this year, past into the season. Like, you know, Alabama, they had some big players, and we got embarrassed in that game. They were a pretty long team. Out athleticized us, you know, same with Arkansas. They did the same thing, and, you know, we just need to contain him and contain the big players on the court because that's something we struggled with this year. Number 3, I think we're going to need some good minutes out of Aduthiero and Damian Collins off the bench whenever they're called upon tonight, you know. Casey Wallace, last game, he got in foul trouble against Georgia. We didn't really know what to do. I mean, we needed another guard off the bench if CJ or Severe aren't able to go. And I think Adu can provide that for us. And I think Damian Collins can also give a great break for Oscar whenever he gets in the ballgame. So good key minutes out of them are going to be really big for us tonight, I think. And then I'd like to note that I think CJ and Severe are probably going to be out again. I haven't seen anything official, so it's just my speculation. But I think they're going to be out tonight. So anyway, both teams are on the bubble. Mississippi State, as of now, is in, and Kentucky is out. Joe Lenardi tweeted out earlier, he was like, his game of the night, as far as NCAA tournament watch, is the Kentucky-Mississippi State game. He says that Kentucky, with a win, it puts them in, and Mississippi State, with a loss, it might not really affect them that much. So, who knows, maybe a win tonight for Kentucky will add another team into the SEC into the final count for now. But anyways, that's all I got for y'all this time. I'll see y'all next time. Catch you later.